is the 18 WJTS News. I'm Charlotte Olson. The town of Ferdinand will have a new clerk-treasurer at the beginning of the new year, and at a caucus held on Monday night at the Ferdinand Town Hall, Ferdinand native and Forest Park graduate Tammy Miller was picked to fill the soon-to-be open spot by precinct committee persons for Ferdinand 1 and 2, Rich Helming and Rita Ozer of the Du Bois County Democratic Party. Miller was selected over Michael Cummings, and Miller is a 1984 graduate of Forest Park High School and a 1988 graduate of Indiana University, where she earned a bachelor's degree in business with accounting concentration. She held positions as an auditor at Ernst & Young in Indianapolis for 2 years and spent 10 years as treasurer and secretary at project accountant for REI Investments, REI Real Estate Services, and also Browning Management in Carmel. She left the business world to be a stay-at-home mom, and about 10 years ago, she returned to her native town of Ferdinand. She is the mother of 3 children, and the county Democrats scheduled the caucus to fill the office after the recent announcement by longtime clerk-treasurer Bev Schulteis to step down from the post. Miller says that she's thankful for the opportunity to serve in her community, and she says she knows that she has some big shoes to fill and is ready to bring a fresh approach to the position.
I know Bev has been doing it 40 years, and she has told me, Tammy, I know you might come up with better ideas to do it quicker and faster. I know she was very accurate in her records, but I'm hoping maybe I can streamline some of those and make it just a little bit more efficient, which will open up my time to do other things that the office might need.
Schulteis recently announced that she would resign from the job, and Bev has been clerk-treasurer of Ferdinand since 1988 and has been a town employee since 1977. She says she decided to retire in order to catch up on things at home and to also visit family. Ferdinand Town Council President Ken Seacard has served alongside Schulteis for the past 18 years. He says that Bev has been a tremendous asset to the Ferdinand community.
Really working right hand with her, making sure all our budgets are in place, the money's in place, that we're not overextending ourselves and whatever. You just don't know what she's been into and what she's done over these years. We're looking at 30 years as a clerk treasurer and another 10 years working for the town. Priceless, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Seacard talks about, in a rather humorous way, how from the very beginning Schulteis always made sure that the town's finances were kept on track, and says that she will be hard to replace.
I kid her all the time. I said right after I became town council president, I got wrote up by the state government finance board because I paid some people some money for their services and didn't get it invoiced. So since then, she's managed to keep me straight and narrow, and we do things. I will totally miss her. When we started talking a number of years back that she was thinking of retiring, I've spent a few sleepless nights just wondering how is it going to work out and can we find somebody. So she'll be definitely missed by the town.
Schulteis' term was set to end in December of 2019, and Miller says that she plans to run for a full 4-year term in the Democratic primary of the 2019 election. Now that a replacement has been selected, Ferdinand Town Manager Chris James says that Schulteis will serve as the Deputy Clerk Treasurer and provide training for Miller until her retirement takes effect on December the 31st. The Greater Jasper Consolidated School Board met for their regular meeting on Monday afternoon in the Administration Building. On the agenda was a presentation by Ireland Elementary School on a year of success of maintaining and introducing new social and emotional building blocks within the elementary school, along with the approval of a new internet provider for Greater Jasper schools that will take effect at the beginning of the 2018-19 school year. The board saw a brief video presentation put together by teachers at Ireland Elementary, highlighting this year's schoolwork being done on the front of not only academia, but also social and emotional behaviors of students. Ireland Elementary Principal Raymond Mailing emphasized that it was the great staff at Ireland that has made it possible to introduce the many programs that students participate in, including allowing students to have visits with comfort dogs, letters to veterans, and disability challenges. 4th grade teacher Andrea Ackerman affirmed how fulfilling it is to see just how important these emotional behaviors play out in the classroom.
I think the social and emotional side of the student is just as important as the academic side. The community you feel within the classroom where the students look out for each other and help each other and assist each other without having to be asked to or prodded to. That's heartwarming.
Shannon Bauer shared how the students along with the community are benefiting from these interactions after a very special Veterans Day experience this year.
We had a Veterans Day program in 3rd grade, and we invited them to come in. And I had 13 veterans that came in for the breakfast. And they all stood up and told us where they were and how they served and what war they were in, and gave us a little bit of background information. Well, the next week on Monday, he had a present for the kids and a card, and I quickly just opened the card thinking it was just a normal thank you card, and I started reading it, and my eyes swelled up with tears because he said that's the first time he has ever spoke about his experience in the war. And when he came back from the war, America wasn't really happy about the war, and they were told just to stay very quiet. So that was the first time he has actually, and in his letter he said, first time I actually felt like I had my welcome home. And it made me cry. It made some of the kids cry. And during the breakfast, I noticed that his daughter did leave the room, and her eyes swelled up. But now I understood how important that was. He's never talked about it with his own daughter. So bringing those people in, and I think it's about our students, yes, but it's also about the community.
Also on the agenda was the approval of a new internet provider for the coming school year, with Christy Vaughn speaking to the board about rates and also the bidding process.
Basically, we're changing our internet service provider. For years, we've gone with ENA, which is they have been contracted through the state. They were providing a discounted rate, and since the state decided not to provide something for the entire state, we had to bid our own $470. So we sought out bids for our internet services. Obviously, everything we do relies on technology in the classroom these days, and so we wanted to get a good picture of what was available to provide our internet services.
Greater Jasper schools own their own fiber between buildings so that they will only be seeking internet services. The transition of services will be made at the end of the 2017-18 school year, as the current contract the school is in will be concluded. Smithville Fiber will be the new provider. Jasper police were busy on Monday as they responded to multiple calls, which included 2 cases of leaving the scene of an accident, a head-on collision at the intersection of Newton and 3rd, and an accident that was the result of an intoxicated driver. First, 24-year-old Kyle Huffman found himself behind bars at the DuBois County Security Center after a report of a property damage vehicle accident at the intersection of Northwood Avenue and Howard Drive. After arriving to the scene, Jasper police officers and speaking with Huffman, officers detected a strong odor of alcohol. Police administered a field sobriety test, which Huffman failed. Huffman later admitted to using methamphetamine and marijuana days earlier, and paraphernalia was found at the scene. Huffman was arrested and charged with operating while intoxicated, possession of paraphernalia, and maintaining a common nuisance. In a separate accident at the intersection of South Newton 24 and 3rd Street late in the afternoon resulted in a head-on collision between a 2006 Lexus driven by 17-year-old Kennedy Meyer of Newburgh and a 2013 Chevy Cruze driven by 44-year-old Poppy Hands of Tazewell. 17-year-old Meyer was transported to Memorial Hospital for pain to her chest and also her back. 24-year-old Galen Roach of Jasper was arrested yesterday afternoon after leaving the scene of an accident, causing personal injury along with having an active warrant through Spencer County. While traveling north on Newton Street, Roach ran his 1987 Dodge Ram 2500 into the rear end of a 2012 Nissan Versa being driven by Evelyn Lopez, causing her to run into the vehicle in front of her, which was a 2002 Chevy Cavalier driven by Kenneth Lee Favre. Witnesses reported that Roach then backed his truck up and drove away from the scene. Lopez suffered a slight facial injury, while LaFarve complained of back pain. Roach's truck was found abandoned sometime later in the day by an Indiana conservation officer. Roach was discovered at his mother's residence on the Village Court in Jasper, and he initially provided a false name to police. He was taken into custody and will be charged with leaving the scene of a crash with bodily injury, possession of paraphernalia, false informing, obstruction of justice, a failure to identify, and also cited for driving while suspended and operating a motor vehicle without financial responsibility. Mr. Roach also had an outstanding warrant through Spencer County. And finally, to end the day, Jasper police saw the arrest of 21-year-old Nathan Morgan of Washington after Morgan, the driver of a 2004 Dodge Ram pickup that backed into a parked vehicle in the Memorial Hospital parking lot and then left the scene of the accident that had occurred. He was lodged into the DuBois County Security Center with a charge of leaving the scene of an accident. Mentors for Youth has elected Ryan Craig as its board president to serve for a period of 2 years. Craig's term will begin on January the 1st, 2018, and he has previously sat on the board as both a member and vice president. Craig was selected to replace outgoing board member Luke Schnaus. In a release, Mentors for Youth Executive Director Ellen Korn says that Luke has done a tremendous job in growing the organization. She says through his term as president has ended, the organization is happy to have Schnaus continue to sit on the board as a member, and they are grateful for his hard work and dedication. Serving as vice president will be Kristen Braun, who has previously sat on the board as a member. Also, Russ Richard will be exiting the board after 6 years of service as Mentors for Youth board members serve for periods not to exceed 6 years. Korn says that Richard will be missed and says that they are thankful for all the time that he has spent dedicated to Mentors for Youth. Effective January 1st, 2018, the Mentors for Youth board will consist of the following. In addition to Craig and Braun, other officers include the treasurer, Brent Pfister, and secretary, John Temple. And remaining board members include Luke Schnaus, Scott Franzel, Brittany McMowen, Sandy Smith, Emily Dills, Missy Kremp, and Angela Gepner. Their terms will begin on January the 1st. Mentors for Youth is dedicated to facilitating mutually beneficial relationships between youth and volunteers for the purpose of enhancing individual lives and the community. The organization has been serving DuBois County for over 30 years, matching children with responsible adults for one-on-one mentoring. Questions or inquiries can be directed to Ellen Korn at 812-482-2227. And make sure you keep it right here, because up next we're going to take a look at your weather summary.